Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes, to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now, and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast. We are so excited to talk to you today about why collaboration beats competition every single time. I heard this week at a workshop that Carol and I were participating in this sentence of a birds of feather flock together. And I just think that is such a powerful sentence. Birds of feather flock together. Birds of feather flock together. And I know, and I'm going to admit that when I first started to, enter the world of entrepreneurship, getting used to collaboration was something of a new muscle that I got to practice and develop, because my experience oftentimes, if you look at the school system, and prior to being an entrepreneur, I worked in education. It was all about competition, right? It was about evaluations. It was about competition. It was about applying for all these positions and needing to look, the best, have the best resume, have the best interview, have the best questions. It's always the best, the best, the best, the best, the best. And it created a very competitive person in me. And, there's nothing wrong with some healthy competition. But I did notice entering a world of entrepreneurship, it's really about collaboration. There's not a lot of competition. If you are trying to compete for something, you're flying solo, because this world and how you become really successful in this area of entrepreneurship, it really is about relationships and collaboration. And I know we spoke a lot about that last week's episode about the relationship piece. And I know we're excited, Carol, to dive in today, really looking at collaboration. So talk a little bit about this. I know, Carol, we were talking earlier about a bit of a analogy, something to think about when we look around us, where we actually see a lot of, twos and threes, and how things actually are working together in multiples, not in solitude.
Yeah. So immediately what comes to mind is ropes. If you're any kind of a sailor, if you've ever had anything to do with boating, ropes are rarely single. They're usually in twos and threes, because twos and threes are stronger. And twos represent having people aligned with you who believe in you, who can hold you high, who are your safety net, your support. And often what happens is we're really operating in scarcity when we're in competition, because we're thinking we're not enough and we've got to get better. We've got to do more. We've got to beat them. When in reality, when you're looking at things through a beautiful lens of abundance, that there is enough for everybody, that we are in an abundant, beautiful universe, and we can show you how to activate that, then you can really, start to let go the pressure of competition and enter into these beautiful collaborations with other individuals. Yeah.
Well, seeing everyone's gifts, right, of what you can bring to the table and how you can work together, and that abundance piece, right? I know when we're looking at wanting to be more productive and wanting to create more wealth, right? We're looking at creating more, and we do need to operate from a place of abundance. When we're always thinking lack and there's not enough, where we're creating more of that. And so being able to just have that mental shift, and it is a mental shift, right? If we look back about how we're programmed and how society, right? Society really leads on lack. And so it's really doing the some of the mental work, right? And
Yeah.
shifting into creating that abundance and seeing abundance around you versus having the your blinders on and only kind of seeing this way, feeling
Yeah.
like you got to go at it all alone, right? There's nobody out there like you, that
Yeah.
no one can feel like you feel. And one thing I've noticed in with our clients and with this world of entrepreneurship is that you're actually not alone. There's so many of us out there that feel the same way, right? And that we get to
Yeah.
work together and stick together and support each other, you know because sometimes we get stuck, right? And we
Yeah.
we can't see in front of us. And the mentors and the coaches and our community are the ones that get to be there, that hold our vision up high for us
Yeah.
when sometimes we can't ourselves, right? Like it's not always easy.
Yeah, it invites me to ask you questions because Alex, Leanne, and you and I have spoken about this. Do you feel alone? Do you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and that there isn't the support out there you need, or it's going to be too hard to find it?
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely had that feeling like, who could help me with this? There's really just nobody, or it's going to be way too hard to go out and
Yeah.
find them. And that's a perspective. That is a mindset, and it's an operation that could be wired into your subconscious that you're making decisions by, as can scarcity, as can this idea that there's not enough. But when you're looking at these things, what would it be like to have a mentor or a guide who absolutely believes in you? For me, it's been absolutely life changing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. Absolutely, right? Yeah. So, I have blind spots that a mentor has helped me to see and uncover and go deeper. But it's that holding me high that's been huge.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to have somebody hold you high? How would you like to have somebody that believes in you? And this is the power that you can get in collaboration. This is a
Mm-hmm.
power you can get in partnership, like Alex, Leanne, and I have. It's really beautiful. And speaking to those strengths, you want alignment, but the alignment isn't about looking and doing things exactly alike. It's about, are you agreeing in your mission, vision, values? Are you agreeing in your core values and those things that matter to you? Because that's where you're going. That's where what you've got to see and what you're driven towards. So those things are important, but the strengths, if you have differences where one party brings one set of strengths, another party brings another set of strengths, and you will, because we're each unique. That's beautiful, right? That's so beautiful. And that's a part of that safety net. That's a part of that security you get when you're in a collaboration with somebody. It's a support net, right? I
Mm-hmm.
see you. I believe in you. We're in alignment about the things that really matter and what we're doing. And even that's a journey that evolves. And we absolutely are there for each other, believing in each other and holding each other high. Oh, these are so amazing. And I know you have more to say on this as well.
Well, when you're thinking about alignment, right? Sometimes I'm wondering if the audience might be thinking, well, what does that look like when you're saying alignment? And to
Yeah.
me, what comes to mind is like the multiple summits and workshops that we've done, right? Like we
Yeah.
have a title, we have this mission, we know, we think about the experience we want the audience to experience. And so when we're
Yeah.
interviewing and getting to know different speakers, we present that, right? We take a stand for
Yeah.
what's important to us. And I think that's
Mm,
what the power
I
becomes
love
behind that
that.
collaboration, right?
Yeah.
We said this before, why we do what we do is fueled by why we do it. So we have that clear kind of our mission and our vision for what we stand for. Then
Yeah.
we get to bond together with other people that feel that strongly and
Yes.
that passionate about it, right? Like you said, might have sometimes different perspectives. And that's actually part of the
Yeah.
gift, because you can give different perspectives to like a similar topic and bring different angles to it. And then it just
Mm.
makes, well, I was gonna say makes magic because of just the
Yeah.
gift that you're able to create through these different perspectives and these different experiences, right? That each individual comes to because
Yeah.
ultimately we are unique. We are all very unique, right? We all have our 1%. And being able to
Yeah.
come together with that commonality of that the mission, the vision, or that alignment based on your values, and then kind of just showing up with your special
Mm.
flavor of what you bring to the table is again it's just powerful. And whoever you're serving and
Yeah.
however you're showing up, Carol, you were sharing with me earlier tonight like how you've met some individuals recently and you've been able to connect with some other people and some other people. And oh man, like just that power of connection and that power of collaboration
Yeah.
and how just, bringing people together is so powerful. And because you're operating from a place of abundance,
Mm.
you're serving, right? And I think that's what's
Yeah.
powerful is just being able to serve from your heart and lead from that place as well, from your values and
Yeah.
just like there's no energy, right? Having no energy, no feeling about it, just being able to be really neutral, showing up
Yeah.
as your true authentic self and just being that person you are without some of the fears around the judgments and the criticism and the competition,
Yeah.
right? You can just be,
You can
really
just
just be.
be.
Yeah.
And we're going to speak more about that really soon. And, I love the way you brought up um, our DNA. We are 1% unique, 99% of all humans across the earth, our DNA is the same. So, how connected are we? you know and I can't remember if I referred to this in one of our earlier episodes about the sister cells in quantum physics, and in different work that's being done. Sister cells can be separated across the earth, and what's done to one cell happens over here to another. We don't even know the full science of the power of our connections, but they are leverage. And leverage is a good word, it's a multiplication of you and your interests, your impact, your mission, vision, and values when you are collaborating in alignment with somebody and you're both bringing these different strengths to the table and you're creating a greater impact. So if you're in competition, then it's like, I've got to do more. I've got to do better. I've got to put you down. You've got to, it's about getting ahead instead of serving. And I love the way you leaned into that, Alex, because I think that really hits the nail on the head. And when we're coming from a full cup, from a full place,
Yeah.
And strengthening one with one another, then that's when we are able to, you know, bring more to the table. And I love what you were referring to with our summit interviews and those connections we make. That's multiplication. That is
Mm-hmm.
leverage. That's abundance. That is spreading your impact and their impact. And that's so beautiful, right? Um, and it gets us out of lone wolfing. It
Yeah.
gets us into mentorship. It gets us into communities, being surrounded, being in the rooms, as is often said, being in the rooms with those people who are doing the things that you want to do. Well, it can start with that service of a collaboration,
Oh,
of
visibility as well, right?
visibility.
Visibility is a big thing,
Yeah,
right? As an entrepreneur, right? To really be seen and know and heard. And when you have
yeah,
this collaboration and other people who are able to vouch for you that you've built the know, like, and trust factor, it opens
mhm,
up that door that other people can then create that with you. And that just
yeah,
helps build those relationships further when you have that opportunity and that sort of presentation. I'm just thinking, talking about leverage and this collaboration community, like we're participating right now in the business besties.
yeah,
And that's such a beautiful example of all these experts coming together, sharing their gifts in one place, right? A one-stop shop, and just
yes,
supporting each other, getting to know each other. and being able to serve like on a bigger platform a lot more people in
Yeah.
that reach, right? That right, if you were by yourself, right, it would be a right a lot of work to be able to reach and build that relationship with that amount of people. And so again,
Yeah.
just that power of that collaboration, right? Like that's why it goes back to the collaboration of the competition anytime, because it is so powerful how
Yeah.
you gain that visibility, increase that reach, right? You're leveraging your time, your effort, and your energy, and we're all
Yeah.
about that, right? Helping you be able to do that. And so it's a really, talking about like the perspective shift, having that perspective shift and looking
Yeah.
at the collaboration versus the competition, can just do wonders for your success and your
Yeah.
growth and the impact that you're able to create, right, by being able to build those relationships and a collaboration.
I know we have a great suggestion for you guys. In last week's episode, we asked you to partner up with someone, and we're going to invite you to strengthen that collaboration if you felt like there was a mutual benefit. And it's about abundance. It's also about the exact opposite of operating in fear, because scarcity is related to fear. And when you're feeling like you have to get ahead all the time, you can be very fearful.
Mhm.
And so when you're going to collaborate and get to know somebody and operate from that abundance, it releases fear. I don't have to worry about competition. And one of the examples our mentor gave that came to mind, Alex, is when she spoke about all the health coaches that exist in the planet, or all those who help with productivity, or all those who help with wealth and finances. It doesn't matter, because in abundance, we each have our own unique voices, what we're bringing to the table, and you get to connect with who you resonate with and who helps you to believe in yourself, to operate in collaboration, to operate in abundance and without fear. And that is beautiful and exciting,
Well,
right?
your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I think that was something that also supported me in looking at, again, that transition from feeling this competition to the collaboration. Is like, is that your vibe truly does attract your tribe, right? You have
Yeah.
your own story, your own personal experiences, your own twist. I mean, both Carol and I are master certified neuro coaches, so we really look at the neuroscience of your brain and how you operate in the success. I've studied extensively the high performer brain and
Yeah.
adult learners with my background
Yeah.
in education and innovation. So really looking at, even as an adult learner and a brain and how you learn best, we're able to develop our coaching and our courses
Yeah.
based on that, based on really
Yeah.
helping you succeed in all areas of your life, because it's so applicable to basically whatever it is that you really, really want to create, because it's the
Yeah.
foundation that's powerful, right? And so that's what makes us really, really unique and stand out, combined with the principles of wealth and this principles of productivity, right? It's this,
Yeah.
full combined, complete transformation of your leadership through the work that we've done. And it's hands
Yeah.
on, it's not just books, and that's
Yeah.
what's powerful. And we've
Yeah.
collaborated with other wealth coaches and productivity coaches because, as Carol
Yes.
said, everyone's
Yeah.
going to bring their own unique to their table, right? Their own
Their
1% to the table.
uniqueness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. I think, you know, again, we want to invite you to look through the lens of collaborate. We want
Yeah.
you to collaborate with whoever you've been meeting up with, and we hope that you are taking our invitations to do these things and following along and making it fun, right? Make it fun. We want you to be happy, and we want you to operate in a full abundant place in all areas of your life. And collaboration is an absolutely beautiful way to do that. look for business besties. Business besties is something really, really special and magical that we're bringing you right now that can amplify your collaborations, amplify your outreach, your abilities, and especially before the end of the year. It's going to be giving you some incredible resources. So watch out for that. And we have even more on the way. So we're excited about Black Friday. We'll be talking more about that as well. And yeah, I think that you guys are probably in complete alignment with this. We want to invite you to just start to look at this lens of abundance and of collaboration and all the beautiful benefits that you receive from this. So we invite you to subscribe, by the way, and I know Alex Leanne will want to wrap us up right now.
So, as if you guys hear what Carol invited you guys to do earlier, we invite you to reconnect with the person you connected with last week, right?
Yeah.
Schedule a coffee Zoom date or an in-person coffee date, right? To really develop an authentic relationship with this individual. Not just, right? We talked last week about that exchange, but really look at developing a real connected relationship with this individual.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Where can you support one another?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, right? Because I know sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, where it's like you feeling like it's a task of building this connection or having this reach out. And I would love to invite you to build on that muscle of having that authentic connection with them. And that's why we want to invite you to reach out a second time to just really get to know the person, not just on the professional level, but on a personal level where you get to build that know, like, and trust factor, because it really does go even a longer way with the collaboration piece when someone really truly gets to know who you are, what you stand for, not just what you do, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Connect with them, schedule a coffee date via Zoom, in person, subscribe to our podcast, go grab your business bestie bundle, connect with us on Instagram at unleash.unstoppable.you. And we will see you guys next week. Right.
Have a great evening or
Bye,
day.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.